answer a lot of questions for you. I just want to say that, let me just check something here. There we go. I think the live stream should be starting soon. We'll know in a moment. I do want to say hi to Todd and Dave in the chat. Welcome, and thanks, guys, for being here and helping out. I do want to just do a quick audio check. You will notice something new today. Sorry for the brief pause while I put both earbuds in. So you will notice that this is now visible. Many people were saying to me that the audio sometimes was a little too quiet. Some people said the audio was great. Some people said the audio was a little too quiet. Baravilson mentioned this morning as well that he had compared some videos. So I thought I would put my microphone as close to my mouth as possible so that you can hear the full range of my voice. So anyways, hopefully the audio is good. If the audio sounds good, please let me know in the chat. Anyways, we are not here to talk about my microphone. We are here because you saw this sign that I made in the thumbnail. By the way, I'll hold this up. Live English lesson. Everyone welcome. These are the chalkboards that Jen uses for flower prices when she goes to market. But I thought I would use one just to advertise this. So we're here to learn some English. Here are the rules. Please keep the chat in English. Please do not ask questions in the chat if you would like me to answer a question. Todd or Dave will put a link in the chat which will go to a form that you can use to ask a question. I will not be able to answer all the questions. In fact, already now there are 7 questions in my little question spreadsheet, so it's going to take me a while. I will try to answer them as clearly as possible. I do want to start out as well by thanking all of my members, anyone who has clicked that join button below to help support my channel. You help me get things like this really nice little wind cover for my microphone, which hopefully makes the audio sound really good outside. And then thank you to all of you who are subscribers. If you are not a subscriber, please click that red button down there and subscribe to my channel. But we should get started. Let me get to my questions. Just give me a moment here to pull up the first question. I'm going to, let's see here. Let me click this. Uh-oh, something went wrong. Maybe not. Let's wait and see. The questions aren't working. Give me one moment to see if I can make things work. Let me see here. I should have a little sign that goes up that says that we are having technical difficulties. But let's see if this works. Usually if you just check something once or twice, you can get it working. So there we go. I have that on the screen. Give me 1 second. To get the next. I think we're good to go. I think everything is now working. So Steve has the first question, and the question is, hey Bob, how to use worth or worthy, historic or historical? Also, could you make some videos about writing email, mail, or business letters and the process of finding a job? So I did make a video about the process of finding a job. Maybe Todd or Dave could find that video and put a link to it in the chat. And I did do a video on typical questions that you will have in a job interview. So look for both of those. But as to your question about worth and worthy, gold has worth. That means it has value. If a person does something that's honorable and respectful, you would say that person is worthy. So slight difference between the two. And then historic and historical, that's a tricky one because you can go to an historical site, and that would be a place where they have old buildings and things like that. But then you would describe that as being historic. So historical is kind of a general term for old things. And when you're talking about a specific thing, you could use historic. Hopefully the question program keeps working well. Just a small glitch there. I think the problem is that I tested too many things. But anyways, SL Lenka has the next question. Hi, Bob. Could you explain the difference between confinement, confine, custody, detention, and detain? Thank you. So confinement is any time that someone or an animal perhaps is in a cage or a box or a jail cell. That would be confinement. You would say that they are in confinement. You would also say that they are confined. Okay, You can also say that you confine someone. So if I put someone in a jail cell, I confine them. Custody simply means that you, like if the police arrest someone, they have them in custody. It doesn't mean that they're in a jail cell. They might just have handcuffs on and be in the back of a police car. But after you are arrested, you are in custody. Detention has many meanings, but in this sense, detention would simply mean that you are in custody. So you've been detained. And then I kind of just answered detain there as well, didn't I? So my software says that they are dropped frames, but hopefully things are sounding good and looking good. I do just want to check for a sec myself to see what things sound like and look like. People might think this is a cat when I look at the video. This is not a cat. This is simply my microphone. I hope that my camera doesn't try to focus on this thinking this is my head. I doubt that would happen though. Let's get to the next question. Next question is from Nathan GR. Hi, Nathan GR. I said hi to Nathan earlier in the chat. Good to see you here. I do want to give a shout out to Brent. American English with this guy is in the chat as well. Hi, Brent. Hope you are doing well. And I just want to say hi to the 354 people who are watching. Thank you so much for being here. And I do want to just say thanks to everyone who left comments or let me know that maybe the audio needed to be adjusted. So Nathan GR says, hello from Greece, Teacher Bob. Hello, Nathan. Hope you are doing well. I don't quite understand the following. How do you like your house, your job, your car? Thanks in advance. So yeah, when we ask somebody if they're enjoying something, we use the question word how. So we'll say things like, how was your birthday? How did you enjoy your party? How are you enjoying your house? How are you enjoying your new van? So it seems like the wrong question word. It seems like you should be saying, are you enjoying your new van? Are you enjoying your new house? And those questions are correct as well. But in English, we do certainly say things like, how are you enjoying your new house? How are you enjoying your new car? So it is correct to say that. And it does seem a little strange, doesn't it? Let's see here. Next question from Ruslan. Ruslan says, I'm having a little trouble talking. Should I take a sip of water? Yeah, let's do that. There we go. Ruslan says, Teacher Bob, best wishes. Dear teacher, how are you? I'm good, Ruslan. Thank you for asking. I hope you are doing well as well. If you are going to travel after the pandemic is over, what country would you like to visit first? So I'm going to have to go with France again. I know that makes Lolly very happy in the chat. I think because I am a French speaker as well, I would really like to visit France. And definitely I would like to go back to the province of Quebec someday. The other week I had ants crawling on me. I think that's going to happen today too. So France, I know many of you are disappointed. You would love it if I visited your country. I know a lot of my friends from Brazil would really love it if I visited Brazil. Maybe that'll be second on my list. I'm not sure. Next question is from Wee. Good morning, Teacher Bob. Good morning, Wee. What is the difference? I'm going to add a the to the question. What is the difference between believe and belief? Thank you so much. So when you believe in something, it means that you think it is real. Okay. So many people who are religious, they believe in God. But when you describe the fact that they believe in God, we say that that is their belief. Okay. So just a slight difference in how you use each of those words. Let me see here. Next question. Oh, I clicked on the wrong spot. To read this one just to make sure it's appropriate. Valeriy from the Ukraine. Hello, you remind me of an old kind beaver in one Soviet cartoon. What is the difference between split, press, crush, and squeeze? How do you use verbs benefit and reason? Thanks in advance. So let me do the first question. Split. So if you have a piece of wood and you chop it with an axe, it will split in two. Okay, so you split wood. When you press something, it means, so I can press on the table, but generally if you have grapes, you might press the grapes in order to get the grape juice out. You might also crush them, okay? So press and crush are very similar. And squeeze, like I can squeeze my arm. If I grab my arm, I can squeeze my arm. You can also squeeze oranges in order to get orange juice out. So yeah, they're all somewhat similar for sure. But yes. And then how to use the verbs benefit and reason. So yeah, this, giving them money will benefit them. And then it's hard to reason with people. It's hard to discuss with people. That's a tricky one. Let me see here. This one is from Gina. Hi, Mr. Bob. I've read this sentence. I imagine Sarah kicking off her boots. Why wouldn't it be, I imagine Sarah kick off her boots? I think because we generally use the past tense. So I imagined Sarah kicking off her boots. We would use the past continuous there, or the present continuous for sure. Let me see here. I think because it's not something that's really happening. So when you're imagining it, it's happening in the present tense. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining that one, but I think that's the clearest that I can be. Let's go to the next question from Jhonny, the Brazilian. Jhonny says, hi, Bob. I've heard these words, each other and one another, being used almost the same way. Is that right? And can I use both interchangeably? So let's see. Jen and I love each other. Jen and I love each other. Jen and I love one another. Yes, you can use them the same way. They gave each other gifts. They gave one another gifts. Absolutely. Yes, you can totally use those interchangeably, at least in those examples. Your next question from Sarah. Hey, Teacher Bob. There's a B missing there. Hey, Teacher Bob, thank you. I always see so many college party scenes in TV series. Are there so many parties in real college life? Thanks. When I went to college, there were parties sometimes, but not a lot. I think what you see on TV may not be the same as reality, but I do think that in Canada and in the United States, if you go to university, I think that there are definitely parties. I'm not sure how many there are. Sometimes in the movies or on TV, they make it seem a little different than it actually is. But if you go to an American university, there will be parties. If you want to go to them, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Hey, I want to pause and thank the 470 people who are watching. Thank you so much for being here. That's awesome of you. And I do want to thank all of you who have subscribed. If you have not subscribed, there's a little red button down there. You should click it. When I put a new video out this coming Tuesday, you will get a nice notification of that. Let's go to the next question. I think there was an ant in my mouse and I couldn't click the mouse button. That's interesting. Next question is from Alan Oliveira from Rio. What do you like to do in your free time? So by the way, Alan, when you type in all capital letters, it's the same as yelling in English. So I don't want to yell this, but what do you like to do in your free time? I like to read. I like to take naps. I like to walk, although that's more exercise. And then I think, let me think. What do I like to do in my free time? I like to play computer games. Currently, I'm playing Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. I haven't actually played it for a little while, though. I should play it again soon. But that is what I like to do in my spare time. Let's see here. Next question is from Cain. Cain says, hey, Bob, are there any accents you have trouble understanding? I struggle with Deep South from the United States and Glasgow from Scotland accents. So I struggle with like the English accent, let me see, Irish and Scottish. If they speak very quickly, if I'm watching a television show and someone from Ireland or Scotland is speaking English and they speak very, very quickly, I have trouble understanding them. Most other English accents I can understand no problem. American accents, Australian accents, New Zealand accents, South African accents, all of them are very easy for me to understand. Let me see here. Oh, the big question from Giovanni Minali. What is the difference between do and make? It's confusing. Yes, it's very confusing. In fact, I was talking to Rodrigo. Rodrigo VIP is usually in the chat here. I think I saw him earlier yesterday about do and make, because we definitely break the rules sometimes when we use do and make. So generally what I say to people is this: make is when you create something, okay? So when you can make a cake. You can also bake a cake, but you can make a cake. You can make a chair out of wood. You can, I think when you construct something, we use make. Do, though, we use very freely, okay? So I'm going to I'm going to do another English video later today. Okay. I'm going to make another English video later today. I kind of mix them up. The reason it's confusing is because we use them far too interchangeably, right? So you could even say things like, I'm trying to remember the example that we had the other day. Yeah, I'm going to do some shopping. I'm going to do a podcast later this week. I'm going to do a video instead of make a video. So very tricky. Sorry, Giovanni. That is a very hard question. I think the best thing to do is to go online, go on YouTube and see if you can find a really good video about how to distinguish between the two. Hey folks, I see a lot of people asking questions in the chat. Again, please use the chat for English conversation. If you have a question, please use the link that Dave or Todd will share in the chat. I do have to say though, there are a lot of questions on the list, so I am moving through them as quickly as possible. But please do not ask questions in the chat. If you ask me a question in the chat, you are just kind of making the chat full and less enjoyable for other people. So have English conversations and use the link to ask your questions. Let's get to the next question. Let's see here. Next question. Camila. Hello, Bob. Hello, Camila. I would like to know which is the best way to improve my grammar for the IELTS exam. Thank you. Have a good one. So I generally recommend that if you are studying for the IELTS test or the TOEFL test or any other English test, that you go on Amazon or any other website and you order a study package for that test. That will have a grammar component in it, and it will help you study the grammar that you need to study in order to do that test. So that's what I usually recommend. Buy a study kit. There are many, many IELTS study kits that you can buy. I know it does cost a little bit of money, but it is a good way to study and prepare for that test. Let's see here. Mahmoud. Hi, Mahmoud. Hi, hello, Bob. How are you doing today? I'm good. My question is, what is the difference between for instance and for example and in fact? Thanks in advance. So let's talk about in fact first. We say in fact a lot just to introduce an idea. So I could say, I like to do live streams. In fact, I do 2 every week. I like to eat cookies. In fact, I might bake some cookies this afternoon. So it's kind of just a way to link and state something that is true. Okay, so a fact is true. When you say, I have a really good camera. In fact, I've used this camera for over a year and I might buy a new one in 1 year from now, a year from now. So it's kind of just a general purpose term when you're introducing something that is true. In terms of for instance and for example, I could say, I like to drink water. For instance, I have a cup of water here. Or for example, I always have a cup of water with me. So they are very interchangeable. And do certainly mean the same thing. Let's get to the next question. Next question is from Katerina. Katerina from Ukraine. Hello, Teacher Bob. Is it correct to say the telephone always rings when I take a bath or when I'm taking a bath? Present simple or present continuous. So I could say the telephone always rings when I take a bath. That sounds a little incorrect, but I would say it. The telephone always rings when I take a bath. The second one sounds more correct though. The telephone always rings when I'm taking a bath. That's how I would say it. But I don't think the first one is incorrect necessarily. Let's see here. This is a question I might get wrong. Ashraf says, what exactly is which and that in a sentence? When can we use it? So it was the video. Yeah. So there's a rule for this and I can't remember it. And I explained it somewhere because you use which and that usually for people and things differently. But I do know in English, we sometimes use them interchangeably. So it was your dad that gave me that truck. So that's correct. It was your dad that gave me that truck. And it was the truck which I drove for 5 years. So you see how I use that with a person and which with a thing. Definitely go and find a good video on this though, so that you don't just rely on me. Hey, I want to say Thank you to Brunaker Rodriguez. I hope I pronounced your name right. Or Bruno GCR Rodriguez. Thank you for becoming a member. That is awesome of you. Or wait, is it a super chat? It's a super chat. I get confused. They're all the same color on my screen. Let me get to the next question. Let's see here. Next question is from Margaritha. Hi, Teacher Bob. Please explain the difference between cancel and cancel out, between inquire and find out. Thank you. Best wishes from Ukraine. So I don't use cancel out very often. Okay. I usually use the word cancel. If I have a membership, I might cancel my membership. If I am, let's say I'm a member of a gym where I go to work out, I might cancel my membership. I don't think I use the phrase cancel out very often. There's probably a unique situation for that. When you inquire, it simply means that you ask about it. So I could call to inquire about what the cost is of the gym membership. So I'm calling to ask a few questions. And then, yeah, I could also say I'm going to call to find out the cost of the gym membership. So inquire and find out both indicate that you're trying to get some information and that you are going to be asking some questions. Let's see here. Yeah, so Ario, I don't know the answer to this. Hola, Mr. Bob, why the dubber says, where are you keeping him? I heard that sentence on an animation movie. I think the word hiding is better. Yeah, that's not something that I'm familiar with. So sorry, it's a little bit challenging sometimes to answer the questions. Next question, Rod, VIPidp. Hi, Rod. Hello, Mr. Bob. How are you doing? I'm doing really good. I hope you are too. What's the difference between word for word and word by word? Thank you so very much. So when you read something word for word, it means that you read every single word. I wouldn't often use the phrase word by word. You know, let's put it this way. If I said, for instance, when I read this sign, I'm going to read it word for word. Live English lesson, everyone welcome. But when I made this sign, I wrote it word by word. So maybe there's a slight difference between whether you're reading it or writing it. But I will be honest, word by word is not a super familiar phrase that you will hear in English, okay? It's not incorrect, but certainly word for word, when you read something word for word, it means that you read every single word. Hey, I just want to pause for a minute to say hi to the 583 people watching. I'm always shocked by how many people watch. If you're new here, do please don't click this. This is just the microphone. Do click the red subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if this video helps you learn a little bit of English. And then just a quick reminder again, please use the chat for English conversation. If you have a question, please use the link to ask it. The chat is for English conversation only. And I see a lot of questions showing up there, which is pretty normal. About 20 minutes into the live stream, we usually see some new people come in and they maybe aren't aware of how this live stream works. So please use the link to ask your question. Let's see here. Ukraine. Sorry, that's the name. Hi, what is the difference between retain and keep, detain and delay? Take a look and look at. So first of all, retain and keep. Sometimes when you have a lot of salty food, you retain water. So basically it means your body is holding on to it. When they build a dam, so that it can retain water. So it's kind of a special version of the word to keep. Keep is a general term that simply means, you know, I'm going to keep this cup. I really like this cup. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep my van for a few more years because it's still running really well. So keep is more of a general term, meaning that you hold on to something. Detain and delay. When you detain someone, it means that you basically don't let them go. So if you are at the border and if they detain you, they will put you in a room and ask you questions. But delay is really just a general term for any time you can't do something or get somewhere on time. So that would be a delay. And then take a look and look at, let me take a look. Let me look at that. Those are very similar. Yeah. Yesterday, a friend of mine had a flat tire, and he had a flat tire right at the end of my driveway. And I said, let me take a look. I could have said, let me look at that. So both in that situation, both mean the same thing. Let's see here. Let's get to the next question. is from Shen, a noisy guy here. Hi, Shen. Welcome back, Shen. Teacher Bob, do you think it's cool to make notes and listening to English music at the same time? While it's better for people to learn English or not, I don't do it often though. So that's a tricky one. I can only do one thing at a time, okay? So when I study. I don't listen to music. When I edit my videos, I don't listen to music. Some people though, I have friends who very easily can do two things at once. They can listen to music while they do something. Now, if I am driving the tractor, if I am doing work with my tractor, I can totally listen to music at the same time. I think if you're doing physical work, it's a lot easier to do things at the same time. Hey, I just want to give a shout out to Kim. Kim says, hi, Bob. Sorry I'm late. No problem, Kim. Welcome here. And you can see Kim has his name green and a crown. That is because he is a member and helps support my channel. So thank you very much for that, Kim. Let's get to the next question. Next question is from Regina. What are the differences between I would like to and I would love to? Could they be used almost interchangeably? They mean exactly the same thing. When you use the word love, it just means you are expressing it a little more strongly. So I would like to eat lunch, but I would love to eat hot dogs. You can hear how my voice even changed a little bit there. So I would like to, just as a general desire to do something. But if you say I would love to, it's a little stronger. So I would like to eat lunch. I would love to eat hot dogs. So let's see here. Let me get to the next question. By the way, members only chat is coming up in about 4 minutes. Those of you who are members, we will start the members only chat. But for now, it is still chat for everybody. Julia says, hi, Teacher Bob. How many hours every day should I spend listening to native speakers? Thanks a lot. So I made a few corrections while I read that. Julia, I would say as much as possible. So my recommendation usually for someone learning a language, and if you're learning English, would be that you listen to all of your music in English, at least for 5 days a week. My recommendation is that you listen to the radio in English, if there's a radio station. That if you like to listen to podcasts, you find podcasts in English. And even when it comes to things like reading, if you need to look something up on Wikipedia, look it up in English. A full conversion of all your regular habits into English can be very, very helpful. So how many hours a day? At least 1 hour, but as much as you can. If you can do all of your television watching, movie watching, listening, music listening, all in English, it will really, really help you. Let's see here. Next question. Lolly Bonjour Bob. When you don't want to answer a friend's question in Canada, do you say I take the fifth, like in the United States? Merci. No, we can't plead the fifth here because we don't have the Fifth Amendment. But I think you do have the right to remain silent in certain situations. So we do use the phrase, though, plead the fifth. Most people know what it means, like that it means that you don't want to say something, but they don't know what the history is or where it comes from. Let's see here. I don't even know how to say this word, but I'll try my best, Renata. Renata Kubata. Hi, Bob. How do you pronounce zodiacal? Is it like zodiacal or zodiacal? The person whom I first heard it from said it like the latter. Anyways, thank you, Bob. If I was to say zodiac or zodiacal, I would use the word zodiac more commonly. I've not used the word zodiacal either at all, but zodiac. That's how I say it, zodiac. So zodiac. Let's get to the next question. I love the variety of questions that all of you ask me. It is a lot of fun for me. I have always found the English language to be a little bit weird and a little bit strange. So it is a lot of fun to get such a variety of questions. So thank you very much for that. Let's see your next question from Alan Wan. Hey, Bob. I am a bit confused on pledge and promise. How do you use them? Thanks a lot. So a promise is just telling somebody you will do something and saying that you will for sure do it. So if I promise you I will do 4 videos a week on my other channel. By the way, I have another channel called Bob's Short English Lessons. It's kind of fun. You should watch it. I just revamped it a bit. I promise that I will do that. A pledge is a promise, but it has a little more of a legal aspect to it, okay? When you pledge It usually means like if you pledge allegiance to the flag, you say it out loud. If you pledge to tell the truth in court, you have to raise your hand and put your hand on a Bible. I think we do that in Canada. I'm not sure. But a pledge has a little bit of a more formal sense or a more of a legal sense to it. So we're over 600 viewers. That's awesome. Just a reminder to everyone, please use the chat for English conversations. If you have a question, please use the link to ask the question. Let's see here. Matthias, hello Bob. Could you explain the word appeal, both noun and verb? Thank you in advance. So I can appeal to my wife to let me eat more cookies, right? So I can say to my wife, I'd like to eat more cookies. I can appeal to her. You can also say that, let's see, you can make an appeal to someone. So I can appeal to someone and I can make an appeal, and that would have the same meaning. But in that situation, you know, I appeal to Jen or I make an appeal to Jen. The first one's a verb, second one is a noun. Kind of a weird word, isn't it? And then you also have that people can have appeal, right? That person is very appealing. So let's see here. Next question, Jessica Lee. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Bob. How to correct this sentence? Okay. So I'm not going to read it wrong. The sentence correctly would read, this is popular with tourists. So let's say in your city you have a place where tourists really like to go. You could say, this place is popular with tourists. You could say, this is popular with tourists. That's how you would say that. Simply meaning that they really like it. Niagara Falls is popular with tourists. I'll tell you that much. Let's see here. Next question is from Zara. Hello, Teacher Bob. Hi, Zara. Could you explain wash out and wash up? If I want to ask my son to wash his face, which one should I use? So I would tell him to wash up. I would say, go wash up, go wash your hands, go wash your face. Wash out is something you would use when you are cleaning something. So if you have a shirt with a stain on it, you might try to wash out the stain, okay? So wash up, generally used with people. Yeah, tell them to go wash up and tell them to do a good job. Sometimes my kids go wash up, and when they come back, they don't look cleaner. They look as dirty as they did before they went to wash up. Let's see here. Next question. Is actually from Eaglefly. Hi, Eaglefly. I'm glad I got to your question quickly. From East Timor, and it's about Niagara Falls. Hi, Teacher Bob. How are you? I'm good. Have you ever visited the big waterfall, Niagara? Yes, we call it Niagara Falls. I really want to go and make an English lesson video in Niagara Falls, but I'm not sure this is the right time because of COVID-19. So hopefully sometime before the end of the summer, I can do that. If yes, how did you feel? I have to correct that. Thank you. Cheers from East Timor. Niagara Falls is amazing. If you have a chance someday to visit Niagara Falls, you really should. It is just stunning to see that much water go over a waterfall. It is just very beautiful and mesmerizing. You can stand and look at the falls in Niagara Falls for a very, very long time. Next question from Abel. Abel says, hi, Bob. I hope you're having a great day. Can you pronounce the word order and odor? Thanks. Greetings from Texas. So when you're in a restaurant, you like to order food. So I would like to order a grilled cheese sandwich. I would like to order a hamburger. But sometimes on our farm, things don't smell very good and there is an odor. Okay, so you're like, oh, it smells out here. What is that odor? What is that smell? So that is how you would use the two. Folks, I'm going to jump over into my control panel here for this live stream. And I am going to turn on members only chat. So that should be on now. If you are a member of the channel, you are free to ask questions in the chat right now. If you are wondering what a member is someone who has decided that they would like to click the join button below and that they would like to help support my channel. So thank you to all of my members. When you're a member, you get your name in green during live streams. You get to participate in members only chat. You get a crown by your name, and you get a few extra things during the week. You get a Wednesdays with Bob video on Wednesdays, a private video only for members, and a few other little things here and there. But we have Judith saying, hello, Teacher Bob. How can I learn building sentences in English? Thanks, Judith from Hungary. So first of all, because you speak Hungarian, your language structure is probably very similar to English. So I would start with the simple sentences first, and start with sentences where you are talking using I. Like, I like cake. I like to clean my house. I like to go out. I am making bread. I am walking. Describe everything you're doing while you're doing it in English in simple sentences, and build the more complex sentences later. That's my best advice. Let's see. Nate Indy says, Bob, are you making lives on Fridays? If yes, what time? Yes, at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I do a live stream on Fridays. So, Elena, hello, Teacher Bob. The other day you said that one tomato costs approximately $1 in Canada. I was shocked because in my city, you can buy almost a kilogram of tomatoes for that much money, or for those money. Sorry, little correction there, Elena, for that much money. Yeah, we grow a lot of tomatoes in Ontario, and they get fairly cheap in the summer. Luciano, cat microphone. Yes, this is my cat microphone. Rod says, Mr. Bob, how long do you go for a walk every day? Rod, I have been walking for 1 hour, 6 days a week. So I've been putting on the kilometers. I'm trying to lose the pounds by putting on the kilometers. Daniel says, hi, Bob. How are the classes with the lucky ones who won the draw? They are really fun. So I meet with Rodrigo. I meet with Arashka and Natalia every Friday from about noon my time till about 1:15. And it is a lot of fun. So I'm able to talk to someone in Brazil. Rod's from Brazil. I'm able to talk to someone in Moscow. Natalia's from Russia. And I'm able to talk to someone in India. Rashka's from India. So they're going well. Thanks for asking. I really, really enjoy them. Let's see here. Brent from American English with this guy says, I like the fancy crown and emojis. Thanks, Brent. I'm supposed to add more emojis. I should do that soon. Zeev says, Teacher Bob, how are you? I'm good because I feel like everything seems to be working well today. I had a good night's sleep. I know many of you ask, what's something that makes you happy? And I always say, if I have a good night's sleep, then I'm happy. So thanks for asking, Zeev. Lolly, is there a rule for using fast, quick, and quickly? Technically, there might be, but we use them interchangeably. Okay, so he did that really fast. He did that quickly. I can run really fast. In that situation, I would use fast. He drove by really fast. He drove by very quickly. So somewhat interchangeable. Let's see here. Vladimir, hi everyone. Hi Teacher Bob, how are you? What is your favorite film? I love The Martian. The book is by Andy Weir. The Martian stars Matt Damon. I watch that movie once every couple of years. I also like all of the Die Hard movies with Bruce Willis. Very good movies. Let's see here. Daniel gives me an emoji. Regina says, I like the emojis with your faces. Yeah, thank you. And then Sultan says, good lesson today. I was absent. I'm glad you are here now. Nate Indy, what is the difference in either, also, and to? What is the rule to use these words? So I don't know the rules, but I can give you example sentences. So if you say, I don't like to go skydiving, I could say, I don't like to do it either. Okay. I also could say, I don't like to do it either. But that's just me agreeing with you. If you said, I like to go skydiving, I could say, I like to go skydiving too. So that's me agreeing with you. And then what was your other one also? I also like to go skydiving. Now, those examples do not explain in detail the differences between those words, but at least you have a few examples to look at now. Let's see here. Thanks for the answer from Judith. No problem. Herbert says, hi, teacher. What do you recommend for improving my speaking? I recommend speaking a lot. So let's go through what I usually recommend. Talk out loud a lot, Herbert. Talk out loud to yourself. Listen to YouTube videos and then stop them, hit pause, and then say what the person in the video has said. And then the number one thing is, if you can find an English tutor on a website like Preply, there is a link in the description, by the way. That is the best way to improve your speaking. You have to speak in order to improve your speaking. Let's see here. Thanks for the answer. Regina, the background is so green and looks so peaceful. It is nice to see and enjoy. Yes, it is really nice out here. You can see we built a bigger grill on top of our fire pit, but we are actually not allowed to have fires right now because even though it's so green, it's quite dry here. So there is a fire ban. Lolly says, merci Bob, pas de problème. Kim says, Bob, what is your favorite English song? You know, it changes with time. Right now, I'm listening to a lot of French music, but my favorite English song would probably be anything by Rush, anything by the Rolling Stones, anything classic rock I will probably enjoy. Regina, thank you, Bob. As always, I'm wondering what is your favorite time zone or time of the day? You know, I like the time right after supper, but I'll tell you this, in the summer, my favorite time of the day is any time it's raining outside. We live in a place where it doesn't rain a lot, but when it does rain, it's very peaceful and very relaxing. So my favorite time of the day is usually after supper, but if it is raining in the morning, that is my favorite time of the day. We need more emojis. Yes, we need more emojis. Luciano, I love The Devil Wears Prada. I have not watched that. I should. I think it stars, does it star Meryl Streep? I can't remember. Let's see here. And Brent says, do you think Canadian schools will begin as normal in the fall? Will there be restrictions? We don't know yet, Brent. So Brent is from American English with this guy. By the way, he also teaches English on YouTube. You should watch some of his stuff. And Brent's also a teacher, just like me. I don't know. We have a meeting on July 30th. We have a Zoom meeting where we are going to be told what school might look like on September 1st. But we don't know yet. We think it might be limited to only 15 students in class at a time and other students learning from home. We'll see. Let's see here. Rush, a good Canadian rock band. Yes, and I was very sad when Neil Peart passed away. But I do listen to Rush quite often, and I did watch a Rush documentary recently, and it was really, really good. Let's see here. Vladimir, Mr. Bob, have you ever been to a concert of Pink Floyd? And here's how we would say that, Vladimir. Have you ever been to a Pink Floyd concert? I have not. I wish I could see Pink Floyd live. I have been to let's see here. What concerts have I been to? I've seen the Rolling Stones a long time ago. I've seen a Canadian band called Blue Rodeo. I have seen Billy Joel in concert and a few other concerts. So let's see here. A Zoom meeting to discuss reopening schools. That's a bad sign. Yeah, I'm wondering about that too. We'll have to see. Anyways, let me, if you still have questions as members, you can still ask them in the chat. I will leave chat as members only just for a little bit yet. But I'm going to pop over to the big question list and get the next question. So Nikita says, hello, what TV shows can you recommend for improving English? So I used to recommend Friends because it's highly entertaining. It's on Netflix, or it was. You'll have to check if you have Netflix. But I don't recommend, you can still watch Friends. It's a good show, but it's getting a little bit old. Okay. So you're not going to see the characters in the show Friends use their phones to text people, maybe towards the end of the show. But yeah, it's a good show. It's very entertaining. Instead, I usually recommend that you watch either The Amazing Race or that you watch Survivor, mostly because they are reality TV. And people argue with each other, and it's very authentic English. So it's a great show to watch, to hear authentic conversations. Jumping back to members only chat, bunch of thumbs up from Vladimir, thank you. Luciano says yes, Meryl Streep. That's about The Devil Wears Prada, the movie. Nate Indy says thanks, Bob, no problem. And let's see here. Oh, I should bring my reading glasses out. Even Flores says, hi, Teacher Bob. Hope you are having an enjoyable weekend. What is the difference between using though and although? Yeah, that's a tricky one. You're better off watching a video, but I'll give you a couple of examples. Excuse me. My throat's getting really dry. I think I mentioned this before. I think I have slight allergies, and there might be something right now that's making my throat a little scratchy. So although I might have slight allergies, I still like doing the live stream outside. So that was an example sentence, right? Although I might have allergies, I still like doing the live stream outside. And here's one with though. I have slight allergies, but I'm still going to do the live stream outside though. Okay, so there's two examples, not the best examples, but they'll get you through. Let's see here. My best friend, so this is Brent, says, my best friend works on Survivor and The Amazing Race. No joke. That's very cool. You should tell your friend to come on one of your live streams. People would be very interested in that. Hung Tran says, hi, Teacher Bob. How do you go about wearing a face mask when you go out? Or I think you're simply asking, do you wear a face mask when you go out? Yes, everywhere I go, I wear a face mask. It's not required. It's not the law, but I wear one anyways. I just feel better wearing a face mask when I go out. So when I go to the grocery store, I wear a face mask. Everywhere I go, I wear a face mask. Regina says, yes, right. I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you, Regina. Brent says he does sound for television. I should have hired him, Brent, to figure out my audio problems. And then Brent says, I worked with him one summer doing sound for the Disney Channel. Very cool. Let's see here. Nate Indy, in the winter, what is the temperature there? So if it was the middle of January right now, it would probably be -5 Celsius or -10. That's why I usually do the live streams inside during the winter. But right now it is, I think today it's going to be 32 degrees Celsius outside. So that's not too bad. Thanks to everyone who is a member. I am going to switch chat back to everybody chat mode. That's what I call it. So again, thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you for helping thank you for helping me do what I do. I do really appreciate it. And then Annette Manzi has a question from Quebec City. Hello, Teacher Bob. Excuse me. That's not very nice to do. I should cover the microphone when I do that. Says, hello, Teacher Bob. I hope all is going well for you. Could you give me some examples to use as well? Thank you very much. So it's similar to using to with 2 O's. Like, I like to do that as well. I like to drink fancy coffee. I like to drink fancy coffee as well. I like to go on trips. I like to go on trips as well. So when you are agreeing with someone or saying that you like the same thing, you can use as well. Let's get to the next question. Next question is from Francesco Bergio. Hi, Bob. What's the best thing to do when I read a new book and find a new word? Thanks a lot. So there's 2 ways of reading. One way to read is to find a book that's almost at your level, where there are just a few words on each page that you don't understand, but you can sort of figure them out. In that situation, I would just keep reading. If you are reading a book where there are 10 or 20 or 30 words you don't understand, I would actually go through and look up every word, and then I would reread that chapter. So the best way to read in English when you're learning English is to find books, if your reading level is here, to find books that are just a little harder. Not really, like, not way harder, just a little harder. So that's the challenge. But it's not nice or fun to stop and look up every other word. If you're looking up 3 words per sentence, what you are reading is definitely too hard for you, and you should probably read something a bit easier. Just a reminder that members only chat is off. So please, if you have questions, use the form to ask the question and use the chat for chatting. That's the best thing to use it for. Let's see here. Let me go to the next question. Ray says, hello, Teacher Bob. How are you? I'm good, Ray. Thank you. What's the difference between gorge and ravine? Thank you. I don't know the exact difference, but what I will say is that when the ground is flat and then all of a sudden there is an indentation, a really deep one, we would call it a gorge or a ravine. To me, a gorge might be more rocky. I'm not sure. And a lot of times there will be a river or stream at the bottom of a gorge or ravine. So I don't know the exact difference. I know that they are slightly different than a valley, but that is certainly just an area where, like, I would say the river behind me is not in a gorge or ravine. It's not deep. The ground doesn't go down far enough. But if the ground goes really far down, you would call it a gorge or a ravine. Let's see here. Next question. I'm Mohamed from Somalia. I'm struggling with English spelling. Do you? So I don't, but many English speakers, native English speakers, struggle with spelling. Just because you are learning the language and having trouble with spelling doesn't mean that native speakers aren't having the same problem. Okay, so I actually am a pretty good speller. I don't often spell things incorrectly. But there are English speakers who struggle with it. The only thing you can do is practice, practice, practice. Write things out a lot, and that will help you with your spelling and help you to remember how to spell it. And again, you need to write, okay? If you're speaking English, it doesn't really help you learn how to spell the words. Let's see here. Next question. Lalit Pal, what is the difference between indulge and engulf? So when I eat too much ice cream, you would say that I indulge, okay? So if I have a bowl of ice cream and then I have another bowl of ice cream and then I have another bowl of ice cream, you could say that I'm indulging in ice cream, okay? I'm indulging. But engulf is when we would use this more to describe like the water from the river engulfed the stream or the bank of the river, right? When something floods, it engulfs it. So it surrounds it and overwhelms it a bit. Let me go to the next question. This is a very, very tricky question. Or sorry, this is very tricky for some non-native English speakers. Chris Lee says, hi, Bob. What's the difference between man and men pronunciation? Thanks. So I am a man. You can hear the A sound coming out. I am a man. My brother and I are men. So it's a much shorter word, a much shorter sound, right? It's a men. So I am a man. My brother and I are men. Hopefully you can hear the difference there. I'm not sure what's falling on me today, but something is falling on me. Let's see here. Next question is from Miguel Angel. Hi, Teacher Bob. Do you have some natural expressions? I want to sound natural in my speaking. I'm from Colombia. Good energy. Here's two things I would highly recommend if you want to sound more natural when you are speaking English. Use contractions as much as possible. So contractions are things like saying I can't instead of I cannot, or I don't instead of I do not. And then look at what we call reductions. So we say things like, instead of I want to, we say I wanna. Instead of I'm going to, we say I'm gonna. So learn your contractions and your reductions. Those will really help. And then make sure you pick up like the 50 most common phrasal verbs. I would make sure you know those well so that you sound more natural. That would be my recommendation. So Alook says, hi, Bob, where is your podcast available to listen to? So I kind of in June didn't upload the podcast very regularly, but I'm doing it again now. But if you go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, if you search for Bob the Canadian on any podcast platform, you should find my podcast for sure. And I should put a link to it, shouldn't I? That would be good. Next question is from Enya. Enya says, hi, Bob. Hi, Enya. Enya Dinade. Enya. Hi, Bob. I would like to know if the sentence a couple of minutes means 2 minutes, since a couple normally is two people. Thank you. Have a nice day. Yes. So if I say we're starting in a couple of minutes, that means we're starting in approximately 2 minutes. Okay. So it might mean a minute and a half. It might mean 2.5 minutes. But if I say we're starting in a couple of minutes, or I'm leaving in a couple of minutes, it means 2 minutes. Yeah, about 2 minutes. You could also get rid of, like we're starting in a couple minutes, I'm leaving in a couple minutes. Notice I didn't put the word of in there. Let's see here. Yes, let's not discuss politics in the chat. We like the chat to be friendly. We try to keep all controversial topics out of the chat. If you can't stop talking politics in the chat, eventually you're just asked to leave, because we like to keep things honest, friendly, above board, and just nice for everybody. Let's see here. Nikesh Song Takuri. Hello, Teacher Bob. I would like to know the difference, little correction there, the difference between and among. Yeah, so if I am standing, if there's a person here and a person here and I'm here, I am between them, okay? So if there's two people and I'm right here, I am between those two people. If there is a group of people and I'm in the middle of that group, I am among the people, okay? So it's just a slight difference, and hopefully that helps you understand it just a little bit better. Let's see here. Kishore, hello, Bob. Warm wishes. Thanks, Kishore. I am all ears to know the difference between bully, See, I can put my hand on there. I forgot about that. And coerce. That's interesting. It turns to a hand and then a pointer. Anyways, I should stop entertaining myself. When you bully someone, it means that you kind of either verbally or physically try to get them to do what you want. Okay, so the typical example would be if you are a student at school and someone every day bullies you, and they bully you into giving them your money. It just means you're bothering them. Coerce means something very similar, but it's a more formal term for the same thing. So, you know, at work, someone might coerce you into doing something you don't want to. So bullying is something, so bullying it's kind of age related as well. You know, if someone bullies you, it's generally happening when you're a student in a school. Adults can bully each other. We do use that word, but generally, I would say coerce is a more legal term for forcing someone to do something you don't want them to do. Let's see here. Next question. Giovanni from Colombia says, "Hi Bob, I enjoy a lot of your videos." Oh wait, I enjoy a lot. Okay, let me correct this for you. I enjoy your videos a lot. Your videos are really helpful. Please explain some uses of may and might. Thanks. So may can be used to ask a question politely, like may I have a hamburger? May I go to town? When my kids ask me if they're allowed to do something, they usually say, may I have another bowl of ice cream? So it's a polite way to ask permission. And then I usually say, yes, you may have another bowl of ice cream. You may go out with your friends. Might is a little more, there's a possibility of it happening. So I might go get groceries this afternoon. So that means I might go, I might not go. Okay. So if I say I am going to go get groceries, it's definitely happening. If I say, if I feel like it, I might go get groceries this afternoon. So it's something that could happen. By the way, I did do a lesson yesterday on groceries. I did a live lesson on groceries. It was a lot of fun. Some of you might be waiting for the lesson only version of that video. It's being edited. And I will most likely put the lesson only version of every Friday video up. What would be Sunday morning for me. I'll finish it this afternoon and I'll queue it up to go sometime in the night. So if you watch the Friday live streams and you're waiting for that shorter version of the lesson, it will be up in less than 24 hours. You'll see it on what would be Sunday morning my time. Let's get to the next question. So I'm going to read this one quietly because I don't want to read the wrong thing out loud. Juman says, "Good evening. Can you tell me which one is correct?" Here's what I would say. It is more beautiful than it was last year. That is the most correct way to express what you are trying to express. So if you went to Niagara Falls last year and then you went to Niagara Falls today, you might say, oh, I went to Niagara Falls again. It was more beautiful than it was last year. So maybe they have something new or exciting or different that you were able to look at. Let's see here. GC says, "Hi Bob, how are you doing?" I'm doing really good, actually, GC. Thanks for asking. How are you? I know you can't answer because you can't, but anyways, because it's a video. But when I reply the order of my supervisor, I normally say well noted or got it. Is there any other proper words to reply? So I would say noted. I wouldn't say well noted. You can say it. It's not wrong. But if my boss says to me, hey, you're teaching an extra class today because someone's sick, I could respond via email and say noted or got it or no problem or I'm on it or yep, no problem. I think no problem would be probably the most common way to respond when someone asks you to do something. Okay. So again, it's not a reply in the sense like a general reply. It's a reply if someone asks you to do something. So if Jen says, when you're at the grocery store, can you get some milk? I could say noted, got it, no problem. Yep, works really good. Let's see here. Pasha from Russia says, "Hi Bob, with best regards from Russia. Thank you. Could you tell me what country will you visit first on your holiday if you would have free money for it right now?" If COVID-19 was over and if I had a free trip or free money, I would go to France. Sorry, I apologize to everyone in Japan and South Korea and Australia and Brazil and Chile and Spain and all of the countries. You know, every country in the world, I think, has a person who watches my videos, but I would go to France. So that's where I would go. Let me do a couple more questions, everyone, and then we will wrap this up. Let's see here. Leo Jew says, hello, Bob. When to use the preposition to plus the possessive? For instance, or example, I give Jen permission, or I give permission to Jen. So I could say, I give permission to my kids to eat 3 bowls of ice cream tonight. I give to my kids permission to eat. No, I think the best way to say it would be, I give permission to my kids to eat ice cream tonight. Yes, that's how I would say it. You could say, I give my kids permission to eat ice cream. Yeah, you could say that too. So I give permission to my kids. I give my kids permission. Both are correct. Yes. Sorry, it took me a while to work that one out. So let me just check here. Oh, it looks like an hour has gone by. So this is the end of the outdoor lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you are new here, you should click that red subscribe button below. Thumbs up is always an awesome thing to give me. It lets me know that you liked the video and that it helped you learn just a little bit more English. I hope the audio was good. I'll go check it later when I'm back in the house. Thanks to Todd and Dave for being excellent moderators in the chat. Thanks to Brent from American English with This Guy for answering a few questions in the chat along the way. That's always very helpful. And just a big shout out to all of my members once again. I know some of you who aren't members get annoyed when I thank my members, but they do help me a lot and they deserve a big thank you. So thank you for being members. If you are considering being a member, there is a join button somewhere below. But anyways, I'm Bob the Canadian. Look for that look for that shorter version of the grocery English lesson a little bit later in about 18 hours. That will go up and you can have a watch of that. You can watch that. Sorry, I'm having trouble speaking English. I do want to wrap this up though before I start to not make any sense. So anyways, thanks for watching. New video Tuesday, and I'll also see you next Friday with another live English lesson. Bob the Canadian here, signing out from a beautiful hot day here in Canada. I hope your weekend is going really well, and I hope that the rest of your weekend goes well. Bye. Have a good day.